are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
She said $3,000 is 1,000 to collect $3,000. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
She said $3,000 is 1,000 to collect $3,000. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Nze O Nze. Nze O Nze is a regular on Open Conversation. He's also a political analyst and he prides himself as advocate of the masses. Good morning, Nze, and welcome.
Good morning, Laurentia. Good morning, Nigerians.
Nze, you look so different today and you look good. I'm sure that, our regular viewers will not even recognize you this morning.
They'll go back to the name.
You look really good, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. Looking good, well.
It's good business.
That's for those who understand that, but I do not.
You do not?
What bothers me is more important to me than what I put on.
Just accept that you look good.
Oh, thank you very much.
Moving on. Fresh political turmoil has resurfaced in Rivers State barely 3 months after President Bola Tinubu brokered peace among Governor Similaye Fubara, FCT Minister Yeson Wike, and Speaker Martin Samehule. The renewed crisis follows mounting friction between the governor and the Rivers State House of Assembly lawmakers who accuse the administration of neglecting public schools and failing to uphold agreed governance terms after the suspension of emergency rule. Tensions escalated sharply on December 5 when Amehule and 15 other lawmakers defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressive Congress. Their exit shifted legislative power firmly to the Wike-aligned bloc, leaving Fubara with only 3 loyal PDP lawmakers who have not resumed sitting since September. The Assembly has also challenged the governor over his delay in submitting a list of commissioner nominees, further widening the rift. Political actors and observers warn that the state is sliding back towards the instability that prompted emergency rule earlier in the year. The African Democratic Congress faulted both sides for placing personal interest above public welfare, while PDP chieftain Austin Okai argued that Fubara has been politically isolated following Wike's reconciliation and subsequent mass defections to the APC. Amid the intensifying crisis, President Tinubu on Monday held a closed-door meeting with Governor Fubara at the Aso Villa. Though details were undisclosed, the session came on the heels of the lawmakers' defection and rising doubts about Fubara's future in the PDP. Tinubu also separately met with Ebonyi State Governor Francis Nweforo, adding to speculations about broader political realignments in the South-South and Southeast regions. Nze, what do you make of this story?
Thank you very much. But wise man said that if wishes are horses, beggars will ride. I have a strong wish.
What's that?
And that wish is that what is brewing is not served on the table. Where we are coming from is not good to repeat again. The crisis Rivers State went through within these last 2 years of going to trail is such that nobody will wish to go back to. The challenges, the heartbreak, the fear, the trauma, the loss, the people of Rivers State, the government of Rivers State, even the lawmakers themselves. It is something I wish that never repeats again. So, even when I saw the Speaker, Honorable Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Martin Samuel, you know, making speech on December 1 and directly accusing the government under the leadership of Governor Simila Efubara of neglecting education, aside from huge sum of money that was left in the coffers by the administration of Ibas. I felt so bad about it. So I wished that just ends there. But I know that before such could come up on air, already something has been going, you know, well, a lot of water has been passing under the bridge. And in my mind, if truly the parties can hear me, there is no problem we cannot solve. There is no crisis we cannot quell. If Rivers State interest is paramount in the mind of these leaders, Amwehule is a leader. God brought you up there. Fubara is a leader. God brought you up. And the instrument God used to bring all of you to that platform is still there. The question is, has this man who brought these people to this platform allowed them to use their God-given intellectuality and intelligence and whatever potential God deposited in them to function to the betterment of the state? If yes, then I will advise Samuel, I would advise Governor Fubara to reach a truce. But if no, and someone is still somewhere desiring and demanding that worship be given to him instead of loyalty to the state, then that's what I do not know how to handle. But I know that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Commander-in-Chief, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to whom our past governor is loyal to. Now, Martin Samuel, the Honorable Speaker, has also bowed to him. Yesterday, I think either yesterday or the day before, he was gyrating and telling us that when you reach home, tell his mama saying, don't follow Tinubu, go. You know? It's a good one. So, which means his loyalty now has shifted to APC and Tinubu. Now, Fubara is still in PDP, though we advised him earlier to go to APC, but whatever still kept him in PDP is best known to him. And now he's in PDP, in another political party, and these people have moved to APC. And you see a fresh signs of crisis coming up from different quarters between these two major blocks in Rivers State government, of which if they don't work simultaneously, if they don't work in agreement, development will stall again. Governance will stall again. And we wouldn't want crisis.
Now, what would say to a large extent, first of all, one of the first criticism that came from Rivers State House of Assembly was the state of education, our institutions, educational institutions in the state. And of course, after that particular plenary, the governor did swing into actions. He ordered for the recall of 1,000 teachers and also made certain statements, promises, for example, that education will take a major chunk of the budget in 2026 and all of that. Now, that's on one hand. Now, on the other hand, the Rivers State House of Assembly, also questioned why, up until now, the governor has not presented list of commissioner nominees. It's very important to note at this point in time that presenting the list of commissioner nominees is not, it's something that must happen. The state is designed in such a way that there will be commissioners that will man these agencies, not PAMSECs doing the job of commissioners, not civil servants doing the job of political appointees. So between September and now, what could be the reason that the governor can tender to Rivers people as to why he is unable to appoint commissioners? It is also worthy to note, these commissioners were not sacked by Rivers State House of Assembly members. They were sacked by the Supreme Court.
It's okay. Let's pick
so
it up
let's look at it, because these are the things that one will now ask. Is the governor also showing right hand of fellowship with his actions and inactions, as it were?
You pointed out two issues here. Let's take them one after the other. First, on December 1, in the plenary, the Speaker voiced out his displeasure, which is his constitutional duty, about the state of education in Rivers State. That was, in fact, I give God glory that the voice that was loud enough to talk has spoken. Because we've been crying about it. We've been talking, Rivers people have been complaining, but now the Speaker lent his voice to the voice of other Rivers people, and instantly.
That's why they are standing as representatives of
yes.
the
So I applauded the governor for the action. This thing happened on Friday. By Monday, Tuesday,
that was very proactive.
A call was made. You know, when Sam Oge came up to issue his statement, it was like, did the governor call him in the midnight? The governor did not waste a minute
to react
to that demand. And that showed me that the man governor must be a listening governor, number one. He must be interested on the things that borders on Rivers people. That is on that note.
Okay.
And most of the people who attended that call responded back to me that they've taken all their stores and all that, and we're told they will be called back again, which I am using this platform to say both to the Ministry of Education, Rivers State, the Chairman Education Board, Samoge, Samoge, the governor, and whoever has hand in this, to make sure that these 1,000 teachers that were recorded, and in fact, let me say revalidated, are put to work. But the 1,000 is not enough. We all know that. And you know, you cannot recruit 1,000 in 2023 and still have them intact in 2025. Some might have relocated.
Some gotten other jobs.
Yes, some might have gotten other jobs, and some might have been, validated by sickness or whatsoever, and death might still have occurred. So you discover that you have created another room for corruption in the Ministry of Education for those who work within that circle to employ their own persons who may either be qualified or not qualified by the standard of the government. But I'm saying that the governor should at this point use this fora to employ teachers. In fact, I'm waiting to employ 13,000. Just less than 10, about 10 to 12 years ago. He employed about 13,000 teachers. Where are they?
With regards, while we are looking at the section of employment of teachers, we should also look about the structure. When Martin Samehule, the Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly, was speaking, he spoke extensively and lamented on the classrooms, the structure of these schools. It's sad, genuinely, and it's coming from one of the richest states
in Nigeria.
In Nigeria, it is so sad. Our children should be attending smart schools by now. Our children should be attending smart schools by now. Rivers State government, if they do things right in the education sector, I mean, if they are doing things right, there is no way private schools will will survive in the state, because I mean, smart schools everywhere with standard teachers. River State has the funding, the resources to do that, right? So now, while that call is being made, it is not enough for the governor to recall
teachers
1,000 teachers.
Or employ teachers.
We are also looking at the quality, the output, and the structure as well.
This past week, some journalists, held me down on this very topic, and we discussed at length. And I made it clear that if the past government had done a little, just a little, adding to what Rotimi Chimika Amechi put on ground, that the education in River State would have been one of the best. But unfortunately, most of our leaders do not consider continuity. Rotimi Amechi laid a very strong foundation in the education sector and health sector. But unfortunately, when the government of Nyesom Wike came, he abandoned those things. But I know that those structures are still standing. It's just that they have been vandalized. Most of them have been vandalized. So it's a call. I made that call even this past week, that the governor should go back to these places. Make sure that you renovate these buildings, the structures, put up stuffs. Like you mentioned smart school, I have one in my village. And Governor Peter Mbo of Enugu State, which is my home state, is doing wonderfully well in that area. And it can shock you that my alma mater have been translated into something I can no longer understand.
I also want you to look at the appointment of commissioners or non-appointment.
Yeah, I'll come to that. I'll come to that. While we look at what the governor needs to do in education, I pointed that why he renovate the schools, replace all the stolen equipment around there, he should also stock the schools. The library should be well stocked. The electronic gadgets should be procured for the schools. Computer. This is computer age. There should be no school in any community that will not have enough computers in that school for the children to learn, especially in the junior secondaries. And no school in River State should be pointed as having no convenience. I went to one school some time ago. There was no convenience. Children were going to gutter to mess up. And when I came around there, I was like, wow, how is this still happening in 21st century? So it is enough for the governor to make sure that every school has a borehole. Since we don't have a water board again, every school should have a functional borehole and solar power that will be powering the sumo. Then put up a restroom for all the students where it will be very convenient for them, and appoint people or employ people who will be keeping those restrooms clean, because it's not just enough to leave it, tell the headmaster or the headmistress or handle this or that. Let government pay people who clean those places. Then coming back to the issue of commissioner, appointment of commissioner and all that by the governor. The governor was humble enough to respond swiftly to the judgment of Supreme Court, by laying off all the commissioners that were not screened by Amwehule-led assembly then. But basically all the commissioners that served under him were screened. But by another faction under Victor Okojombo, which the Supreme Court did not recognize. And when that judgment came, you remember that we talked about it. I told you that it will be binding on us, whether we like it or not. And on that basis, all those commissioners dropped. And when we speak with some of them, they say, well, we are only waiting to see what next will happen. And the governor will now have to go back and begin to source for the right people. And it's just barely 2 months plus now that emergency rule was lifted. And we see that
3 months.
But it's not up to 3 months.
It was lifted in September.
September when?
September 18.
We are in December what?
December what exactly?
Today is December 9.
September, October, November, December.
September,
3 months.
October, November. Okay,
3 months.
3 months.
However you look at it, it's
But
3 months.
Yeah, let's just say, yes, you are right in your calculation more than me. You know, women, they can keep dates, we don't have issues with that. So, however, the governor is actually sourcing. Let me play the devil advocate here now. He's sourcing for the right people that we man those offices. Perhaps within these few years he has to stay in office, that we give him what actually he needed.
3 months.
Yeah, he's still
He
sourcing.
needs over 3
But
months.
what I had expected
to
of him.
source,
Yeah.
and to keep sourcing. And that's a
Who knows-
governor.
who knows- who
hold
knows
on.
if those- if
That's
that
a
list
governor.
will
That's
come
a
this
governor
December.
who went on forced. I will call it a forced 6 months leave, because it wasn't voluntary.
While on leave,
Right.
remember, while on leave,
Hold on.
he was not sure of his return.
Hold on. Regardless, he knew there was going to be political solution to it, and when there was lightning in the clouds, he knew that the storm was about to end. One would say, you will do your maths. Listen, Nze, leadership trumps excuses.
That is true.
Leadership trumps excuses.
That is true.
If you say, hold on, he agreed to whatever to return as governor. So returning as governor, one would expect that for the 6 months that he was suspended, he would have learned a thing or two. 1, human management. 2, being more politically smart and savvy, making wiser decisions, learning how to negotiate, learning how to manage the legislative arm of government, because he cannot wish them away. Correct? Now, 3 months into your leadership, PAMSECs are still running. Make it make sense to me. And you're saying the governor, hold on, you're saying the governor is still sourcing. For crying out loud, the governor could even choose to represent his earlier choices to the State House of Assembly. Let it be that they said no, they are not qualified, and give their reasons for their disqualification. He could choose to represent those people to him, to the State House of Assembly. And when you say that the governor is taking 3 months to source for people who will be commissioners, that might look insulting to Rivers people. Are you saying that there is a dearth of technocrats, there is a dearth of administrative professionals in Rivers State, that people cannot man those? There are no qualified persons to man those positions and deliver excellently as commissioners in Rivers State, that in 3 months the governor is unable to come up with a list? Even if it is, let's say, 3 or 4 people, at least you start from there. Okay. Make it make sense to me. So when you are now saying, you're not actually playing the devil's advocate, you are the mouthpiece of the governor right now, because you made an express excuse for the governor that it's been 3 months and all that and all that. The truth of the matter remains that nature abhors vacuum and leadership abhors vacuum.
Let me pick it from the point you made here about being politically smart. That is where I believe that the game, the ball landed, and it is not being handled properly. But when you talk about insulting the Rivers people by saying that for 3 months he has not been able to fish out intelligent and capable people that will handle that, there is one thing we do not understand. When you play outside the field, you see all the loopholes. But once you are in the board, you get blinded.
All right.
That's number one. Number two, when you are given a basket of palm fruits to select the best, you discover that you continue to select. Because what you are asked is to select the 3 best. You keep selecting till evening. That is one problem we need to understand. Now, Mr. Governor, what he's supposed to have done was to keep interfacing with the assembly, whether they are sitting or they are not sitting. You can make a phone call. You can pay a visit. You can attend functions. You can meet each other and talk off camera. And you will understand me. There is one thing people do not know. When you are indebted to someone and you are running away from the person you are indebted to, you are escalating your problem. But when you are indebted, let's take for instance, you are owing your landlord, and every evening you are in his house, either peeling cassava with the wife or cracking jokes with his children. You are indebted to him. You owe him house rent, but every evening you are in his house.
He will become too weak to take action on you.
You get it right. So that's the smartness I had expected from the governor. But it's like there was this gap. Your landlord is coming, you run away. He's coming, you run. He will know definitely you are running away, and he will be planning on how to catch you. And the day he can no longer catch you, he might lock your door.
Right.
So I see that the Mr. Governor didn't act well in that area, but I'm also saying that no matter his offenses, maybe his failure to present the commissioners list to the assembly team now, which we know that he must have been working on that, and that also even planning to present the budget. Unfortunately, the assembly had gone on break, and perhaps inauguration of the new State House of Assembly complex might likely be halted by the absence of the lawmakers, except if they will be called back to perhaps accept the budget, and in that process he presents the commissioners list, which I believe that if he does what he needs to do, if he does what he needs to do well, which I'm now using this platform to advise, because sometimes it will not be easy for me to see the governor as at when I want to see him, and it's a problem to some of us who have the interest of the state and the ideas to share with him, but you can't see him when you want to see him. So if not, I'm using this platform now to advise that he should reach out to the FCT minister. The way he went to Abuja to see Mr. President and had closed-door talks with him, he can go to Rome Precom and visit FCT minister when he enters town, or he can go to Abuja and see him and talk things over with him and let them have a discussion. For the interest of Rivers people, whatever agreement they have should be kept secret. Let Rivers people see progress. Once we see progression in governance, we have no problem. We are not asking for much.
All right, very well said. Just like you said, let's Rivers people see progress, because I mean, it's been a long one in this administration, and we have underdevelopment because of crisis, and it's not funny at this point. Like
far-reaching underdevelopment.
A second crisis should not happen again. However, the governor and the assembly wants to sort themselves out, a second crisis should not happen again. You know, and I think I will also call on different actors within the states. Please, people should not take side. Call a spade in this crisis that is about to start, so that it will be nipped in the bud. A second crisis should not happen again. Rivers people have suffered enough. Now, moving on to Benin coup. African Democratic Congress has praised the federal government for its rapid intervention following the coup attempt in Benin Republic, but criticized President Bola Tinubu's administration for failing to show similar urgency in addressing Nigeria's deepening insecurity. The party spokesman, Bolaji Abdullahi, said the swift action abroad sharply contrasts with the government's slow response to banditry, terrorism, and violent crime at home. Abdullahi also questioned the legal basis of the deployment, insisting that the president's decision must be ratified by the National Assembly as required by the Constitution. He noted inconsistencies in Nigeria's foreign policy, asking why the government acted quickly in Benin, but not during the crisis in Guinea-Bissau, where a former Nigerian president was trapped. Warning of democratic backsliding across West Africa, the ADC urged the government to match its foreign decisiveness with domestic competence. The party argues that protecting democracy begins with safeguarding Nigerians' lives and livelihoods, insisting that the government's swift abroad must also act effectively within its own borders. Nze, what do you, I know you are aware of the coup going on and the battle still ongoing in Benin Republic and the position that Nigeria took. I mean, that was the swiftest. Apart from the speed with which National Assembly passed the national anthem into law, you know, this is the second time Tinubu's government acted with speed. But then, what is your take on this?
Well, I still praise the government for what they did, because as I normally say, anywhere I go, anywhere I see greatness, I salute it, no matter who carries it. It doesn't matter whether you're my enemy or whatsoever. After all, what are we even dragging? I have my part to do in life, you have your part to do. What are we dragging? God has given me my own wife, you have your own. So you maintain your lane, I maintain my lane. So here, I commend Mr. President for his swift response to the call by the president of, the threatened president of Benin Republic. And the response by Nigeria restored sanity and democracy in Benin Republic. But however, this person that was able to give this swift response to this call, how have they been able to respond to distress calls in Nigeria? When terrorists will invade a community, they will drive motorcycle that does not cover up to 30 kilometers per hour. Motorcycle does not cover up to 30. In fact, being that they are not driving along third road, they might not be able to cover up to 25 kilometers per hour. They will drive in convoy, travel miles to their community, begin to carry out their actions, and Nigerian government will not react until they are done. Sometimes spend 3 hours, 4 hours, they are done, carry young and old people, moving them in droves into the forest, and Nigerian government will not respond. This is where we look out and say that government is not sincere in their fight against insecurity in Nigeria. Government is elected primarily to defend lives and properties of its citizens and to develop the state. But we see that the government of APC under Bola Ahmed Tinubu has failed woefully in this area. We see that Nigerian airplane was able to move to Benin Republic, a foreign land, and located its targets and shot down these fleeing coup plotters. But in Nigeria, they will be telling us stories because your own territory, where you're supposed to be well acquainted with the terrains, you'll be telling us stories. Sometimes you say the vehicle cannot get to where they're going. What did they use to go? If vehicle cannot get there, aren't you having well-footed soldiers that can go there that are young? You have them that are supposed to go there and still fight these people, but you don't do that. So we see a high level of insincerity. Now, what ADC is saying, that the swift nature in which Nigerian government responded to Benin Republic, but failed to respond to Guinea-Bissau.
When Jonathan was trapped.
When our former president was trapped there. You know, I look at it from different angles. The president of Guinea-Bissau didn't beckon on Nigerian government to help. And you discover that our former president, Goodluck Jonathan, pointed accusing finger to the president of Guinea-Bissau. He was the one who announced the coup. He was still using his phone to make calls, contacting people. So there was a little bit complexity in
what
that.
They are saying, what ADC is saying, is when the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, was trapped in Guinea-Bissau, did Nigeria respond speedily to extract its former president?
As Big Brother Africa, they claim to be.
No, it's not about Big Brother Africa. We are talking of a former president of the country trapped in another country.
Yes, I know.
What did Nigeria do to extract him at that point in time?
Goodluck Jonathan himself said, at the point when Nigerian airplane was about leaving the country, he was the one that told them to hold on. Reason being that the neighboring country had secured landing permits and they have flown in to pick him. So instead of Nigerian plane coming to plead for permission from the junta to land, already, and I think Cote d'Ivoire had already sent their plane to pick him up. So at that point, he called Nigeria, not that they didn't respond, they responded. He now called that they should hold on, that he's been already lifted from Guinea-Bissau. So I did not join, I cannot join issues with ADC
on
in
that
this
one.
to
Now,
blame the government.
Still moving forward. Now, ADC raised a very important point in their position when they said, constitutionally, when issues like this happen, the National Assembly has to clear the president. Before that, was the National Assembly involved in this decision? Because we are not aware, I don't know, I'm not aware that the National Assembly had plenary deliberated over this and then gave permission for the president to order Nigerian troops into, to invade, well, one would say to go into the territory of Benin Republic.
Yeah, another journalist has also thrown this question to me, and I struggled. I pleaded with the journalist. I said, please, I'm not a lawyer, but permit me to come from this angle because we are not completely ignorant of the law of the land. There are emergencies. And I believe that when emergency of such occurs, the president can take emergency action, which after he will still present
the president. What would take an exception to that? No, the president cannot take emergency action when it comes to foreign intervention.
You recall that the president of the Republic called him.
Changes nothing.
Well, that's why I took exception. I'm not a lawyer.
Changes nothing, because the president of Benin Republic called, just like the president of Benin Republic called other countries as well. Let's establish that. Now, in the case of Nigeria, the president ordered military intervention in Benin Republic. That is going into another sovereign country.
Territory. Yeah.
Let's establish that. Going into another sovereign country, and there are protocols when that is to happen.
Yeah.
Now, is the National Assembly aware of this move by the president? Did the National Assembly deliberate over this? Because last time I checked, I did not hear that the National Assembly deliberated over this move by the president. How can a president take such drastic decision that may have ripple effects even on the country?
Yes,
I don't know if you understand. Now, while this is happening, hold on. While this is happening, Nigerian Air Force aircraft C-130, I think, or C-100, had to do an emergency landing in Burkina Faso. And currently, as we speak, that aircraft has been detained, has been seized, and 11 Nigerians, soldiers, the pilots, the 2 crew members, and soldiers,
9 others,
were detained by Burkina Faso military junta. Now, let's look at the implication of this move. You see the irony of this entire thing that is playing out. So now, why you have destabilized coup in Benin Republic, our military is at the mercy of another military junta,
another government that came through coup
in Burkina Faso. Now, where is the place of the national? Because I was expecting that National Assembly should be having an emergency plenary as of yesterday, even if they had to do it in the middle of the night. I mean, these men are taking so much money. Break protocols. How do you act undemocratically in the name of democracy? I need this irony to be balanced at this point in time. Then how do we now handle the issue of Burkina Faso?
The problem we have landed ourselves
into. Of course.
See, the thing is that we try as much as possible to handle matters as humans within the limit of our perception. Mr. President had acted the way he acted, which I said he responded to emergency. It is now left for the National Assembly to call it up and say, Oga, we did not agree with you on your actions. Now, in effort to safeguard another country, what took Nigerian Air Force plane, to Burkina Faso?
And they say they violated their AES.
Yes, definitely.
Aviation rules.
Yes, that's that.
And right now they have activated their airspace. I've forgotten the name they called it. They've activated their airspace machineries, weapons, to shoot down any plane.
And that's it. Because over time, we've seen the rot in Burkina Faso. And the foreign agencies are feeding fat from these poor countries. In fact, impoverishing the countries to feed themselves fat. Not just only Burkina Faso, all the West African countries, including Nigeria, which we are still suffering today. But today we are seeing high-level development, popping up in Burkina Faso. And now Nigeria, I believe, like when I was looking at the action of Konetiri, the young man that led the coup, in my mind, from my background, military background, I know a few things that might have taken place. And immediately, the announcement in the media, in the television house failed. Immediately, a counter announcement was made. The guys that supported the plot will begin to exit through various routes. And our Air Force that went after these people, could it be?
And foot soldiers, and there were
foot soldiers,
yes. Were sent as well.
But you know that definitely some of them might use any means to escape. They can't be wearing their uniform to travel. Yeah. Except you're a dollar.
They said that Nigerian strikes were coordinated.
Yes, based on the positions where those guys
Meanwhile, citizens of Benin Republic in certain parts of Benin Republic have entered the street to support the coup plotters against the president. Now, while the politics in Benin Republic is not exactly my cup of tea right now this morning, my concern is Nigeria's involvement in Benin Republic situation. and how
And
it
mishandling
and how it
of-
has
of operation.
escalated, and how it has escalated into Burkina Faso.
That's the point.
Holding down our plane
And our soldiers.
for invading their territorial airspace. For invading that, even though Nigeria is saying it was an emergency landing, the irony, like I said earlier, is that this was an airplane that went on intervention against coup plotters in Benin Republic and somehow landed on emergency in another state, another country that had successful coup.
But
So
how common country with Benin
how
Republic?
is that? Because I mean, Benin Republic, that's Cotonou.
Yes, they don't have
I'm
common
trying to.
boundary
That's the
with
thing.
Burkina Faso.
That's the question.
You pass Togo.
When you look at the map, how
pass
is that?
Togo.
Yes.
Before you get to Burkina, I think after Benin Republic, Togo, Mali, before Burkina Faso. But the problem is,
So how did that flight land?
that's my question.
Well, anyway.
Because let us assume that the 9 passengers were paratroopers, whom you needed to drop in some strategic places, perhaps forest, bush, or whatsoever, to intercept the fleeing coup plotters who might either be fleeing on foot, or on donkey, or horse, or motorcycle, or even cars. Now, why leave the territory? That is another thing that troubled my head. To what extent are these our operators
It's our Nigerian
trained?
No, not
What
trained.
extent?
One would they act under instruction. One would say, what extent is Nigeria's involvement in this whole thing? I think we should be asking questions. And you know what makes it even more interesting is that National Assembly did not sit
And have not,
and
I have not
deliberate
said,
over this
they have not
and
held
not
plenary
deliberate.
on that thing now.
Exactly.
And it is taking over 24 hours.
Exactly. So there is a lot of questions, a lot left to the table. I wish we have more time. We are out of time, really. But then it is my genuine prayer that this matter is not escalated and Nigeria is not drawn into needless war and politics. Like, we have a lot going on in our country right now. And just like ADC said, I mean, the speed with which Nigeria responded to Benin Republic, but Nigeria is unable to respond to its citizens
when they cry.
within its own territory. Nigeria is in a hurry to safeguard democracy. I'm using President Tinubu's, I mean, that's what he said. They are in a hurry to safeguard democracy in another country, but cannot safeguard their territorial integrity within its own geography. I mean, Yawata massacre, how many hours did that massacre go on? The massacres in Plateau State, reports have come out that these massacres went on for hours and the military did not show up, right? And then after everything is done, they come, and sometimes they don't even come. And this is so we actually have a functional military that can move with the speed of light.
There is a laughable thing that happened here. That each time I look at, I begin to wonder how my government, those that saddles the seat of power in Nigeria, reason. United States of America have their high-powered delegates in Nigeria to investigate the genocide claim in Nigeria, which the president of United States had threatened to send troops.
And Nigeria
into
said
Nigeria.
no.
Nigeria said no,
You cannot invade where it's sovereign country.
But why these people are still in Nigeria? Nigerian plane flew out of Nigeria to save another.
To invade another country.
Like, what is just like, if I may borrow your word, make it make sense to me.
And again, the president says he's going to safeguard democracy in another country, but did not follow the democratic process of passing this through the National Assembly.
That's the
So how do you
really
safeguard democracy without following
doing
democracy?
the right thing the wrong way?
How do you safeguard democracy
Without democracy.
without democracy?
That's the issue.
How do you fight invasion into your country when you
are
have...
invading another.
And when they say, okay, they did not invade Burkina Faso, sorry, they did not invade Benin Republic, they came
They
under...
were invited.
So what is how did our plane invade the airspace of Burkina Faso?
Okay. Okay.
How?
Now, if the
Like
Benin
you rightly said, after Benin Republic, you get Togo.
Togo.
I mean,
then
after Togo, you get Mali. So
Then,
far away Burkina
if the
Faso.
Beninians, if the citizens of Benin Republic who are suffering from the, if I may say, the misguided leadership of the present leadership in Benin Republic, who are angry with the intervention of Nigerian government, if they rise up against Nigerians who are doing business in their place, who will save them?
That is another issue.
Who will save them?
That is another issue.
So,
did the government consider the lives of
We're raising
Nigerians?
questions here.
Yeah,
just
because just like you
philosophical
rightly
questions.
said, if this goes south, lives of Nigerians in Benin Republic might be put in danger.
Sure,
right?
and their businesses.
If this goes south, this could escalate into anything. And right now, we don't even know the position that Burkina Faso is going to take, backed up by their sister Sahel country of Mali and
Mali, Niger, and
yes.
this thing.
So we don't even know how this is going to play out. Just like I said, it's an irony that played out yesterday. How Nigeria went to Benin Republic to fight coup and then landed in another coup country at the mercy of another coup country. But then we see how this story unfolds. Thank you so much, Nze, for coming. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nigerians.
And thank you so much, our viewers, for always staying connected to us. And we wrap it up at this point in this episode of Open Conversation. I remain Ogu Laurentia. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away.
We always overcome.
What Nigerians need
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and